Hey, it's Alex, the divorce planner. I'm going to be talking to Coach Leah Marie today at Mindfully Ready here on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, just about anywhere. She is a certified divorce coach who specializes in healing and empowerment after divorce. So if you have any questions about anything to do with healing, about getting getting your groove back, finding your confidence again, anything to do with divorce prep, this is the chat for you to be in. Oh, I just see you. My friend is here. I'm going to get her. I'll be getting to them as I see them. And again, I'm Alex, the divorce planner. Anything to do with divorce prep, planning, even a separation, that's what I'm all about. Hello.
Hey, we're in July.
This is so weird. And this is like a vacation week kind of for a lot of people. So I'm just like feeling this is a great no man's land. It's summer. Maybe we live like this all the time feeling.
Yeah,
But I know July, I know this time of year for you as a divorced mom is a little challenging.
yeah. My kid is gone. She left. She's gone for 7 weeks. I cried like a baby the first day. The first day is always the hardest. But then I learned to adjust. She's been doing it for years now. So, we talk and we text and we FaceTime and we do all the things. And I think what makes it a little easier is that she's having a lot of fun. I think if she was hating it, it would probably be a lot harder on me, but she's like living it up right now. So, yeah, when your kids are away, you got to learn to adjust and make the most of it and take advantage of the time. Like do fun stuff, do you meet up with your friends, with your family, get a creative outlet or a hobby, like
Yeah.
do stuff for you until it's go time and then it's back to school.
I think that is great advice. And that's one of the, if you have kids and you're going through a separation or a divorce, I think for most people, and definitely for me, that was one of the scariest things that I kind of stressed about. I'm not going to be with my kids all the time. What does that look like? That's not what my intention was. I never wanted that. And then as you get in the habit of it, once the new schedule presents itself and it gets more into a routine, you're able to carve out that time for yourself with just pays you back and it fills you up as a parent. It lets you be a better parent and lets you enjoy your life a little bit more. Let's just call it what it is.
Totally.
It's a lot.
Totally. And I wholeheartedly believe that it can't, at least I know from personal experience, it made me a better mom
Yeah.
because now I have that break. I have that time to reflect on my relationship. And I mean, I do that. I'm like, how am I doing as a mom? What do I need to change? Is there anything I need to do differently? And then and I'm filling up my cup and filling up my tank as she's gone. And so when she comes back, it's like go time, right? I'm like, rested, rejuvenated, ready to go. I feel like I have a fresh perspective and like it changed the way I parent.
And I think it can change it for the better,
Yeah.
right? That's really what we're getting at here. But I know how triggering the idea of not having your kids all the time can be when you haven't put it into practice yet. So for anybody who's joining us, who's on the precipice or is going through that change now, totally get it, totally normal. Give it time. And sometimes without your kids are going to be better than others initially. And then you kind of learn to really embrace it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about also whether it's little babies or older kids, because when they're older, they've got their own social plans anyway. Like they really want to be out there in them streets with them friends, which I get because
Yeah.
we all did. I just want to interrupt 1 second. Transcending Narcissist jumped in and said, I just separated from my ex in September last year and I'm still reeling. You know what? That makes sense to me. Like there is no timeline for when you're supposed to feel better. You can have good days, you can have bad days. Is this something you deal with a lot
Yeah.
with your clients?
Yeah, I mean, especially if it was a narcissist, because when you're coming out of a relationship like that, you have a lot to
Yeah.
unpack because you probably don't trust yourself and your intuition and your thoughts and your feelings. You were probably gaslit. You probably have really low self-esteem because that's what they love to do is kind of chip away at all of that stuff so that you feel crazy. Basically, in the relationship, you're like, am I crazy? Like, he's saying I'm not seeing these things. He's saying he's not doing these things. I clearly saw that these things were happening. And so it takes time to undo all of those seeds that were planted in you for all that time. So be patient with yourself, but definitely get support. You're not alone. Get into a support group. I mean, I have one. You can click the link in my bio. There's a free private support group with women who get it and who you can lean on and learn from. But that does make a big difference, that other than trying to kind of figure it out on your own. So
Yeah.
that would be my recommendation, is get support and read about, like, if you like to read books, if you like to listen to podcasts, just get as much information as you can about narcissism and leaving those kinds of relationships and all that stuff, because it gives you kind of a different perspective. You can kind of understand the way that their brain works, which changes how you're going to feel about some things. Like, you may be blaming yourself for certain things, or you may be frustrated that he doesn't see things the way you do, or that he didn't apologize, or whatever's kind of pissing you off right now.
Yeah.
When you learn as much as you can about how a narcissist's brain works, it kind of gives you insight and helps you gain acceptance, because you are going to kind of take them at face value instead of expecting them to be a normal person, because they're
I mean, I'm just processing everything you just said, and I really am. And look, I was in a very privileged position. I wasn't in that position before. I do have clients who have been in that position who I've actually referred to you about this very subject. And I think you're touching on something that's really important, and that is, the more you educate yourself about that dynamic, the less isolated you're going to feel, and it's going to free you up. It's not going to feel so that you're imprisoned by this experience and this being habituated to kind of bad behavior and being small. You know, it'll help you reconnect with who you are now and hopefully free you from those bonds.
Yeah. Learn as much as you can and get support. Lean on people.
Yeah. So we got a comment. Samir dropped in, "I'm alone now. Good feeling." Well, I'm glad. That's really wonderful.
Yay.
For sure. And then I took off my glasses, but I might have to put them back on. Terry dropped in, "My ex is a narcissist and the PTSD from him is unreal. Trying to divorce them is more trauma."
Yeah, and if you have kids, then you have to learn how to co-parent with someone like that, which can be really complicated too. Again, just get support. If you're trying to figure it out all on your own, it's super overwhelming and stressful and frustrating. So learn from those who came before you.
Yeah, that's great advice. And also, if you're preparing for a separation or a divorce, make sure that you have everything. Look, I know it's a really tough dynamic to be in, so please use the information on my page so that you can be as independent and have as much as you need, so you have to rely less on counting on them to provide either documents or statements or accounts. Take your time. I know it can be a covert operation when you are splitting up with somebody who is difficult in this way. So take your time, cross those T's, dot those I's, and get everything you need in hand. And I'm going to say it. I say this all the time. Separate the emotional side of what you are going through and the business side. Divorce is not just a legal process, it's an emotional process, but one thing should not be guiding the other. And as Leah Marie just mentioned, she does have a Facebook group for women. It is private. If you want to connect with other women who are navigating that kind of a challenging dynamic, the link is in her bio. Please, I'm in there. A bunch of other coaches are in there too, so you can drop questions to us there. But separately, I actually want to talk about, you just had a really exciting launch of the new the next chapter.
We did. It's going great. We already have over 70 members in there. It was in the first 3 days. Yes. So for anybody watching, so it's myself. So I'm a divorce recovery coach. So I specialize in like the mental and emotional side of divorce. And then it's Samantha Boss, who she's like the parenting plan guru, divorce coach, specializes in high conflict parenting and divorce. We teamed up, but we have a monthly membership available now. It's women only. It's a private group where you get exclusive trainings every single Monday, and you get to vote on the topic. So like we just did a topic on transition days, how to support yourself and your kids through those, or like what if my kids don't want to go to my ex's house, what can I do, right? So we talked about that. Then we're going to talk about boundaries next Monday, do a whole 1 hour training on boundaries. So every Monday there's new trainings on all the stuff that touches your life in the next chapter, like after divorce. It's $30. It's $30. So you can come in and you just cancel whenever you want. You get so much information. It's amazing.
That's great. And then you're automatically kind of bonded with other people who are in the thick of it, just like
Yes.
you. What a great value. I'm so glad. Congratulations on such a successful launch.
I'm so excited.
Well,
yeah. And so you can click the link in the bio. It's called The Next Chapter. If you want to learn more, there's more info.
That's fantastic to hear. I actually want to jump back to this whole idea that there's an emotional side and a business side when it comes to a separation or divorce. You know, to help people kind of separate the, I don't know, triggering aspect of splitting up with someone, what are some good ways that they can kind of focus that energy so they can do the stuff that I talk about? Because I really do want people, I want to hammer this home, that you don't want your emotions or those big feelings really clouding your judgment. It can happen really easily. And I think that we both have probably had situations where you have a client who's just like, I'm overwhelmed. I want to bury my head in the sand. What kind of tips can you share maybe for people in the early stages of realizing the shit is at the fan? This is going to be over. I got to figure out what to do, but I'm feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah. Well, aside from working with you so that they are less overwhelmed, because that's part of the thing is like, it's so overwhelming thinking about all the documents you have to get together and like, where do I even find those? And oh my God, I need this many years of what? And like tax, what? And so that's stressful. And so working with somebody like Alex to make it way simpler saves you a lot of money and decreases your stress. So number one, so get support. Number two, you have to find ways to get that like energy out, right? So like, let's say for example, you're super stressed. Well, then how do you counter that? What are you doing to de-stress, to find your center, to ground yourself? And that could be all kinds of things. Like maybe you just need a Saturday of like being in your sweatpants and binging your Netflix shows. Yeah. Maybe you need to get out in nature and just touch the ground with your bare feet and like connect with the trees. Yeah. Maybe you want to hit the gym, like put on a badass playlist that pumps you up and go work out. You have to do things that help balance all of the stress and the overwhelm that's going on, because that can eat you alive and like totally destroy your well-being. So that is what you need to do. But also, and this is so overlooked all the time, but you need to get good sleep, you guys. If you're not sleeping well, that needs to be more of a priority, because that impacts the way that your brain is working, how you're reacting to all this stuff that's going on. It makes it feel more stressful and overwhelming when you're not functioning at the highest level, right? When you're sleep deprived, I mean, it's like when you're sleep deprived, it's like that kind of thing where you like your ice cream is in your purse and your keys are in the freezer. Yeah. Like it's not good. Yeah. And so you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself on those basic levels, like eating good foods, drinking enough water, all that kind of stuff.
Those are all great tips. I was nodding along because I will say, like, for me, being out in nature is hugely regenerative, restorative, and it re-energizes me in such a positive way. And that will also have a positive effect on sleep. Anytime that you incorporate some sort of physical activity, it could be a walk around your neighborhood if you can do that, whatever it is. But you're right, sleep is king. And if you're going through a stressful time, it can be one of the first ways that you're kind of rocked. And if you're not getting sleep, you're not thinking clearly, you tend to fall more into a depressive state, right? It's hard to get real happy when you're real tired.
Yes. And speaking of that, try not to drink alcohol. Sorry, don't mean to be a party pooper, but that's a depressant. So if you're already like not in a great state of mind, you're just making it worse, and you're more likely to do things that you might regret also later. So, and that also has a negative effect on your sleep. So it's really not doing you any good. So and I get it, like you want to just check out after everything that you're going through. You're like, I need to just check out, and like, but try not to.
Yeah, no, that's another really great point. Overindulging in anything, whether it's like too much food, booze, pot, shopping, sex. I mean,
all that
kind of like mask over how you're feeling when you're going through a separation or a divorce. Just be wary of it, just be, I agree with you. too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Balance. It's all about balance. And then try to even like schedule in some fun, like not just de-stress, but man, like go like just get away. Like if you can just get away for the day, or like get a creative outlet or a hobby or something that
Yeah.
like you can just kind of spark a little bit of joy. Because when you're in the shit storm, it's just like you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. But when you can find these little pockets of peace, or find things to be grateful for, or find ways to decompress, or find ways to like things to look forward to, things you're excited about, it helps you through that really, really hard time.
It really does. And look, one of the biggest ways that a separation or divorce can impact you is the finances of everything, right? So you're going to have to do a lot more with a lot less money. And sometimes I think people can get intimidated, like, oh, well, I can't get a gym membership, or I can't take classes. I'm going to tell you, Leah Marie, I know you know what I'm going to say. The library is your best friend, number one, first and foremost. You can always like, online, you can get access to a lot of resources through them. You can also see about classes through your local library. Local museums will have like even free art classes. And
Local parks hold thing, like there's like yoga in the park. I mean, there's
it's
like
the
all kinds of
best. Or like Meetup, join meetup.com. There's so many great low budget and free options to take care of your mental health during a separation or a divorce.
yeah,
Also, a couple of other ideas. Volunteering is really great. Being able to get out there
huge.
and put yourself in a situation that takes you out of your kind of myopic view of you know, this is my small world and that's it. And having an experience that helps and makes you feel part of a community. Not only are you doing good, it's going to make you feel really, really good. Really.
Yes, and it keeps things in perspective, kind of like you were saying, like it can feel like your whole world's falling apart,
Yeah.
right? Because it kind of is. But when you go and you volunteer your time to those less fortunate, it
Yeah.
reminds you of all the things that you do still have that you might be taking for granted. Like when I was going through my divorce, I went to like a local food shelter downtown with some girlfriends, and there was like a huge line of people. It was, I live in New York, so it's like snowy, huge line of people outside in the cold. They were just stoked to get one meal and a warm place to sit for like an hour. And like when I came home that day, my house never looked more different. Like I was like
I'm sure.
so grateful for the electricity,
Yeah.
grateful for my own
Yeah.
bathroom. I was
Yeah.
grateful for my comfortable bed. It's like all that stuff that we use and walk by every day, you know, that we don't think about, but there's still so much that you have that you can be grateful for. And when you focus your attention on those things, it changes the way you feel. It changes your whole perspective. I just sent out an email kind of like this today. Like when you're all you're doing is focusing on what you're losing, or
Yeah.
what you don't want, or what's not working out, energy flows where your attention goes. And so if you want to get it even bigger and we want to talk about like manifestation and the universe and all that stuff, I will go there. But like when you are focusing on what you don't want, you're really just creating more stuff that you don't want, right? So when you put your energy and your attention on the things that are working out, and the things that you do still have, and the things that you do, you know, are so grateful for in your life, you're opening, you're like sending that vibration out. You're opening up and you're allowing all like more good stuff to come to you.
So I think the best thing, you know, is that idea of change your perspective, right? You know, I was talking to a friend a couple months ago. I was feeling a little stuck, and I wasn't able to kind of shake off a little bit of just some little funkiness, right? And I remember he said reframe your thinking. And so to be able to do that when you're going through a divorce, and remember, this is not forever. This is just an experience. It's going to be a finite amount of time. It can feel overwhelming, like it's going to go on forever and ever. Just remind yourself that it's not. And which is another reason focusing on your future after divorce is so important, because it's going to keep your eyes on the prize. Like you've got an end goal that you want to build a certain kind of life next. You know, use this time to be not only kind of prepared on the administrative side, but also laying the groundwork for the foundation for what's next. Figure out, what do you want more of in your life after divorce? What do you want less of? What if you put up with that? You're like, you know what? I don't have room for that anymore. And who's the version of yourself that you want to see, now that you have permission to kind of be the architect of something new.
Yeah.
So transcending narcissist said, that's the thing I've struggled with. I have the kids 24/7 right now, and I've lost myself in the marriage, lost my identity. I just want to get my life on track and moving in a positive direction. I think the fact that you can actually articulate that is a huge win. You know what I mean? Like, putting your finger on it will put you in a position to start taking action. Leah Marie, what should she be doing? Look, her plate's full. It's 24/7.
Yeah. I think you have to get creative and you have to get resourceful, because if you just decide, well, I have the kids 24/7, so that's it, I'm stuck,
Yeah.
there's no other option for me, then you're right. But if you are like, there has to be a way. I can get resourceful. Maybe if you're still in touch with your parents or they live close by, maybe I can schedule like a day a week where they help me out for a couple of hours and I have some time for myself.
Yeah.
Or you get together with another mom and you kind of do a little group thing, have her come over, you go over there, and then that'll kind of help you take a little break. I mean, you have to get resourceful and find ways to create those little pockets of time for yourself, because you have to be able to put yourself first sometimes. Otherwise you're pouring from an empty cup. It's not selfish to make your own needs a priority. Like, that's survival. Like, if you're not doing it, then who's doing it? It's not going to happen.
I really like what you said about getting resourceful, and you can always do a barter. I don't know if the person who dropped in that statement, if you have a talent or if you have some sort of service that you can offer, to be able to say, look, I can do this thing for you if you can come and watch my kids for a little bit. That's part of being resourceful. Also, look for local parks and recs departments. There's usually low cost childcare available, especially in the summer. So, and again, I'm going to go back to it. The library is your friend. They're going to, if you go up to somebody at the reference desk, the librarian, and say, I'm looking for local resources for this, they are there to help you. People sleep on the library. I love the library.
There's so much stuff that they have that I didn't know that they had. I think that's the other thing, is like, I think at the library, I think you just go in and there's books. That's it. Maybe some magazines.
Yeah.
They've come a long way. They have a ton of resources for you, and it's free.
That's exactly right. And if you are in the process of kind of investigating, I think we're going to separate or get a divorce, and you're doing everything I'm talking about, of getting prepared, and you don't have a private space in your home, go to the library. I know you can go to a coffee shop, but a library is a safe place where they also have computers there. If you don't have access to something, or you feel nervous about being on the computer at home, that's another great resource for you to be able to utilize. Well, I know that we were just going to jump on here to do a quick hello, our weekly. We're switching from Mondays on TikTok to Thursdays at 5 o'clock Pacific time, 8 o'clock Eastern, which is 7 o'clock Central time, where Leah Marie and I are going to be going live. I think we're just going to try and rotate. This week we're on Instagram. I think we're either going to be on Facebook next week through my Facebook page or hers, or TikTok. And so we'll keep you abreast of that. Oh, I just got Beth just dropped something. Sometimes I get a high school kid to come to the house and entertain the kids when you are at home. It's a nice start. Absolutely.
Great idea. Getting resourceful. Yeah, there's always a way. Okay, that's something you have to remember. There's always a way. Maybe you can't see it right now, but get creative, get resourceful, join support groups so you can ask other people, what did you do? I'm in this situation. Can you give me anything that works for you? And you can find ways. And yeah, that's really great. That's amazing that you thought of that, and just to give yourself a little time for you.
Yeah. Kudos to you. Well, Leah Marie, thank you for carving out a little time to chat with me today. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thanks for hanging with me. I know it's good to see you too. So again, you guys, if you click the link in my bio, if you need any of the resources, there's free stuff. There's a free empowerment guide, free support group. There's that next chapter, which is that weekly training. There's online courses. I mean, there's like tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Do something. That's one thing that like we talk, like Sam says it all the time. Like once you get information, once you see us live, once you see a video on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, now it's like, okay, now you have to take actionable steps. Do something to get yourself closer to whatever it is you want to be, whether it's less stressed, less overwhelmed, happier, more fulfilled, finding yourself again, right? Building yourself, like whatever it is, take action now.
That's exactly right. This was a great first step, and keep going. And again, if you ever have a question and you want to reach out to one of us, Mindfully Ready, her account will be linked on this chat immediately after. If you send me a DM, I'm going to answer. If you reach out to Leah Marie, she's going to answer. We're here. We've been where you are, and we want you to be able to succeed and get to the other side and thrive. So with that, thank you. And everybody have a wonderful night.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
See you next time.